hate The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, even though I loved Breath of the Wild. In fact, Breath of the Wild is my favourite game that I have ever played. I played it for like 100 hours, which is a lot for me. I rarely play games for that long, but TOTK, that's short for Tears of the Kingdom, is still a shit game. I can literally see everybody going and commenting that my opinions are wrong and stuff like that. That's just my opinion. And you can also piss off Armored Core 6 fans. I'm not going to buy your silly robot game. Now back to TOTK. Pros and cons. Con number 1. Atmosphere is a very important thing to me for video games and movies, and Tears of the Kingdom fell short of Breath of the Wild. The factor, like wandering through some half-built Hyrule where everybody knows you and it feels like you're just kind of exploring around for the second time with barely any new things compared to Breath of the Wild, where it feels like you've just entered this beautiful ruined kingdom of Hyrule that feels so vast that you could never explore all of it. When you step off the Great Plateau, you see like all the ruins and guardians and it feels like all new and crazy and stuff. Con number 2. The map of Tears of the Kingdom feels much smaller, even though it has more towers, shrines, and new stuff like caves. I think they make it feel much smaller, since it's so much more dense that you can barely ride your horse for 5 minutes without finding a bokoblin camp stuffed into the map, or a cave. If you have the glide suit, there are literally towers that you can just launch out of one and land next to another tower. So generally it feels a bit overstuffed and lazy of Nintendo to just fill up the map rather than make a new one. Con number 3. The weapon system in TOTK feels nowhere as good, and this is what several reviews I have seen call much better, even though I believe that this is another new feature that Nintendo did a bit lazier than Breath of the Wild, as they obviously had the choice to make more weapons or just make a new ability where you can fuse any item to a weapon. While this makes for some unusual fights, it generally feels a bit crappily made and lazy. Pro number 1. More maps. Now, the thing with more maps is that they aren't really quality maps in Tears of the Kingdom, with the depths just being the height. Map of normal Hyrule, just reversed and stuff, like literally just reversed, not even smoothed out or anything, with just a few different structures and enemies. But overall, an acceptable addition. Pro number 2. Improved enemy interactions, such as you can literally find bokoblins talking to each other, then they get into an argument and start stamping their feet and pointing at each other. Also, bokoblins are more likely to be thrown by moblins. It's actually a bit funny, but the game's still crap. Pro number 3. Better visuals and performance, which, in my opinion, the resolution appears to be higher than Breath of the Wild, but whenever you move the camera, the resolution will decrease and take a few seconds to stabilize again. Frame rate also holds up quite well on Switch, with almost no drops other than singular frames. The game has some of the most abysmal draw distance I have ever seen though. Outro. While Tears of the Kingdom might not necessarily be a bad game, I was heavily disappointed to play a sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, one of the most revolutionary games of all time. Also, it was rumored that Nintendo showed off Switch 2 with a souped up version of Breath of the Wild as a tech demo, which if that does end up launching, I will 100% replay Breath of the Wild. Bye. Video is over.